Welcome to this episode of Explainify, and today we are going to talk about something a bit creepy. Well, it's the ocean. How so much of it is still left unexplored that there might be sea creatures we don't even know about. Even how deep the ocean can go gets me uncomfortable, but let's talk about it. The ocean covers more than 70% of our planet. It shapes our climate, produces much of the oxygen we breathe, and supports nearly all life on Earth. And yet, most of it remains untouched, unseen, and unexplored. Despite centuries of scientific progress, satellites, and advanced technology, the deep sea is still one of the most unknown places humans have ever encountered. In many ways, it is more mysterious than space. When people imagine exploration, they often think of distant galaxies and planets. Space feels vast and unreachable, but the truth is that the deep ocean is far harder to study. It exists right beneath us, yet it remains hostile, crushingly dark, and incredibly difficult to access. The reasons the deep sea remains unknown are not just technological, they are physical, biological, and psychological. To understand why the deep sea is still basically unknown, we first have to understand what deep really means. Sunlight only penetrates the ocean to a depth of about 200 meters. Below that point, vision as we know it becomes useless. Photosynthesis stops completely. The world becomes permanently dark. This area, known as the twilight zone and beyond, represents the majority of the ocean, and most of it has never been directly observed by humans. Pressure is the first major barrier. For every 10 meters you descend into the ocean, pressure increases by about 1 atmosphere. At depths of several thousand meters, pressure becomes so immense that it would instantly crush a human body. Even reinforced steel struggles under these conditions. Designing machines that can survive these depths is extraordinarily difficult, and sending humans safely is even harder. Temperature is another factor. In the deep sea, temperatures hover just above freezing. Electronics malfunction. Materials become brittle. Batteries drain quickly. Unlike space, where temperatures can be managed with insulation, the deep ocean constantly presses in from every direction. There is no escape from the environment. Then there is darkness, absolute darkness. Without sunlight, every form of vision must be artificial or biological. Many deep-sea creatures produce their own light through bioluminescence, but for human explorers, illumination reveals only small, narrow windows of an otherwise endless void. Cameras capture fragments, not landscapes. Navigation becomes difficult when there are no landmarks, no horizons, and no reliable reference points. Communication is also extremely limited. Radio waves travel well in space, but not in water. Sound travels far underwater, but it reflects, distorts, and echoes unpredictably. Signals weaken rapidly. Real-time communication with deep-sea vehicles is slow, unreliable, or impossible. This makes exploration dangerous and unpredictable. Compared to space exploration, deep-sea exploration offers far fewer margins for error. A spacecraft can orbit, adjust, and retreat. A deep-sea vessel descends slowly into an environment where rescue is nearly impossible. If something fails, it cannot simply return to the surface. The deeper it goes, the harder it is to recover. Another reason the deep sea remains unknown is scale. The ocean is not a single environment. It is layered, varied, and complex. Trenches, ridges, underwater mountains, plains, and hydrothermal vents create countless unique habitats. Mapping all of it would take centuries. Even today, more than 80% of the ocean floor has never been mapped in high resolution. Biology adds another layer of mystery. Life in the deep sea does not follow the same rules as life on land. Without sunlight, ecosystems rely on falling organic matter, chemical energy, or heat from the Earth's interior. Entire food webs operate independently of the surface world. Some organisms live for centuries. Others survive pressures that would pulverize any surface creature. Many do not resemble anything humans have ever seen. New species are discovered almost every time scientists send a vehicle into unexplored depths. Many deep-sea animals have never been studied alive. We often see them only briefly through flickering camera lights before they disappear into the darkness. Some species cannot survive the trip to the surface, making study almost impossible. There is also the issue of cost. Deep-sea exploration is extremely expensive. Custom-built submersibles, reinforced materials, specialized sensors, and trained crews require massive funding. Governments and institutions often prioritize space exploration because its benefits are more visible and politically appealing. The deep ocean, hidden and silent, receives far less attention. Psychologically, humans are also biased against exploring the deep sea. Space feels empty, but the ocean feels alive. The idea of descending into darkness, surrounded by unseen life and crushing pressure, triggers primal fear. This fear has shaped human culture for thousands of years. The deep sea is often associated with monsters, danger, and death. While space inspires wonder, the ocean provokes unease. Even when exploration happens, it is slow. A single dive can take hours just to reach the bottom. Observations are brief. Every mission must be carefully planned. Unlike space telescopes that can scan the universe continuously, deep-sea exploration happens in short, risky windows. There is also a scientific limitation. We do not yet know what we are looking for. In space, astronomers know what stars, planets, and galaxies are. In the deep sea, every expedition is exploratory. Scientists often don't know which measurements matter until after the fact. This makes data collection inefficient and incomplete. Another reason is fragility. Many deep-sea ecosystems are incredibly delicate. A single pass of a submersible can disturb sediment that takes decades to settle. Scientists must balance exploration with preservation. This slows research even further. Technology is improving, but slowly. Autonomous underwater vehicles are helping map large areas, but they cannot replace direct observation. Artificial intelligence can identify patterns, but it cannot fully interpret biology we do not yet understand. Every advancement reveals how much remains hidden. Perhaps the most unsettling reason the deep sea is still unknown is that it may contain answers we are not ready for. The origins of life. Unknown biological processes. Ecosystems completely separate from the surface world. There's evidence that studying deep-sea organisms could reshape medicine, biology, and even our understanding of what life can be. And yet, we have only scratched the surface. Humans have walked on the moon. We have sent probes beyond our solar system. But we have visited the deepest ocean trenches fewer times than we have visited space. There are parts of the seafloor that have never been seen by human eyes or machines. The deep sea remains unknown not because we have failed, but because it is one of the most extreme environments on Earth. It resists exploration. It challenges technology. It pushes biology past familiar limits, and it humbles us. Every time we descend, we discover something unexpected. Every time we map a region, we realize how little we have seen. The deep sea is not empty. It is vast, alive, and ancient. In many ways, the deep ocean is a living reminder that despite all our knowledge, there are still entire worlds on this planet we do not understand. And perhaps that is why it fascinates us so deeply. Because in an age where everything seems documented, the deep sea remains one of the last true mysteries on Earth. There is another layer to why the deep sea remains largely unknown, and it has less to do with technology and more to do with uncertainty. Science advances best when questions can be clearly defined. The deep ocean resists clear questions. Every expedition reveals environments that challenge existing assumptions. Organisms break known biological rules. Geological formations behave in unexpected ways. The deep sea forces scientists to constantly rewrite what they think they know. One major challenge is time. Deep sea processes unfold extremely slowly. Some corals and sponges grow for thousands of years. Sediment accumulates at rates so slow they are nearly imperceptible. Studying long-term change requires decades of uninterrupted data, something deep-sea science rarely has. When data gaps exist, understanding remains fragmented. Another barrier is accessibility. Unlike a forest or a desert, the deep ocean cannot be visited casually. Each journey requires months of planning, permits, specialized crews, and expensive equipment. A single failed mission can erase years of preparation. As a result, only a tiny fraction of scientists ever directly observe the deep sea themselves. Most must rely on limited recordings and samples. Even when samples are recovered, they often change. Organisms adapted to extreme pressure do not survive decompression. Structures collapse, colors fade, behavior disappears. Scientists are left to analyze remains that no longer reflect how the organism lived. This makes interpretation difficult and incomplete. There is also the issue of randomness. Deep-sea exploration is not targeted in the way space exploration often is. We cannot easily point instruments at a specific location and study it continuously. Currents shift vehicles. Sediment clouds vision. Creatures appear briefly, then vanish. Discoveries often occur by chance. This unpredictability slows progress and limits reproducibility. Human perception is another obstacle. Our senses evolved for land, light, and air. The deep sea operates on entirely different principles. Silence behaves differently underwater. Darkness is absolute. Scale becomes difficult to judge without reference points. This disorientation makes observation and interpretation harder, even for experienced researchers. There is also growing concern about human impact. Deep-sea mining, pollution, and climate change are beginning to affect regions we barely understand. Scientists are racing to document ecosystems before they are altered permanently. This creates ethical tension between exploration and protection. In some cases, choosing not to explore may preserve life, but at the cost of knowledge. The deep sea also challenges our definition of life itself. Extremophiles thrive in places that once seemed impossible. Entire communities exist around hydrothermal vents powered not by sunlight, but by chemical energy from the Earth's core. These ecosystems suggest that life may be far more adaptable than previously believed. Studying them could reshape our understanding of biology on Earth and beyond. In many ways, the deep ocean acts as a mirror. It reflects how little humans truly control and how much remains beyond our reach. Despite advanced technology, much of the planet remains inaccessible. This realization is uncomfortable but also humbling. There is progress. Autonomous vehicles are improving. Mapping technology is advancing. International collaborations are increasing. Slowly, the unknown is shrinking. But every discovery creates new questions. The horizon keeps moving. Perhaps the most important reason the deep sea remains unknown is that knowledge itself has limits. Exploration requires patience, humility, and respect for environments that do not yield easily to curiosity. The deep ocean reminds us that mystery still exists in a world obsessed with answers. In a time when much of Earth has been photographed, measured, and categorized, the deep sea stands apart. Vast regions remain unmapped. Countless species remain unnamed. Processes essential to life on the surface continue without observation. The deep sea is not just a place beneath us. It is a reminder that exploration is not finished, that wonder is not obsolete, and that even on our own planet, there are still worlds waiting quietly in the dark. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the unknown parts of our planet, make sure to like the video, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss future explorations from Explainified. Thanks for watching. And remember, some of the greatest mysteries are not above us in the stars, but beneath us in the darkness.